This is Dissecting the Market. I'm James, and today we're looking at Foresight Automotive. Is this company a buy, a sell, or should we just stay clear of it? Let's find out. So this is Foresight. They're basically a autonomous driving company, so they create autonomous driving solutions for the automotive industry. They've been around since 2015, and they were launched as a spin-off of Magna, which is a massive company. They basically develop military-grade 3D video surveillance solutions, and they have done for a long time. I think it's 2 decades. So these guys, Magna, are actually a big investor in Foresight. I think they own something like 15% of them, so they're quite a large investor in Foresight. They've allowed them to use their proprietary technology, which say they've used for the last couple of decades, probably because the CEO actually ran Magna for 19 years. He was the CEO of Magna, and he's obviously now started this in 2015. Another thing I like to look at when I'm buying into a stock is who's running the company. The chap that runs this company has been there since the beginning in 2015, but 19 years previous to that he worked for Magna. They're the guys that actually designed the radiosonic cameras, and they use them with the military. They're actually, I think, one of the biggest players in that kind of field. They've been going for 20 years, so he's run that company for 19 years. He has a really good history. He's not like a Trevor Milton of this world, so that's a really positive for me as well. I always like to look at the management team. On the downside, they're still quite a small team. I think there's only a dozen or so people working for the company. So at this point, they're a really small company, and it could go either way. I mean, I wouldn't put your life savings into this. So this is the chap here. He basically ran Magna for 19 years, and that's a huge company, so he'd help grow that company to a massive company right across the world. They sell to airports, nuclear power plants, all that kind of stuff, military grade equipment, and they're now obviously trying to put it into cars. So yeah, look like they have a decent team. So this is their technology. So what they basically do is they fuse stereo visible light cameras with thermal long wave infrared sensors, which gives them a 3D view. Basically, it's slightly different to how everybody else does it. From what I gather, it's the big benefits is this kind of stuff. They can see through harsh light and weather conditions and snow and fog and that kind of stuff, basically by combining a normal camera with an infrared, or 2 normal cameras to give them that 3D image with a thermal camera to help fill in the bits that the cameras can't see, and it's kind of a hybrid of the two, which from what I gather nobody else is doing, so it could be quite an interesting play. It looks like they have a lot of catalysts coming up that could really propel the price up. They're looking at commercial vehicles as well as passenger vehicles, and then obviously their military stuff, which is also, I don't think anybody else is really doing autonomous stuff for the military. So, and it shows that their technology doesn't necessarily rely on mapping. It can do it without the traditional mapping which most autonomous cars have to have at the moment. They actually brought out some interesting stuff. Some of their cameras they used in airports to help detect COVID, so they could see a little bump on the next quarter, you'd imagine, through some of them sales. So another interesting point is the price targets that have been put on this company. So the average is $2.50, but they range up to, believe it or not, $16, which I think is nuts. I don't think it's going to get there anytime soon, but you never know. Actually, a company like this, you just never know. I mean, with autonomous driving, it's clearly the future. It's the way the world is moving. I don't know when that's going to be, 5, 10, 20, I don't know how many years that's going to be, but I do know that will be in our future at some point. I like some exposure to this sector, and these guys at the moment look to be quite undervalued. They look like they're setting up partnerships with really key important people like Nvidia. I think they sell some stuff to Volkswagen Group, some prototype stuff to them, so it seems to be they're making the right move. They've got a guy that's running the company that seems to know what he's doing, has been in the industry a long time, successfully run big companies. We look at the charts for this ticker, FRSX. You can see here it's it's not had a fantastic year actually. It's not really done a great deal. You can see here the 4th of November when they announced the Nvidia partnership. The stock actually went down. I'm really surprised by this. I actually just think there's not a lot of people looking at this ticker because it's a penny stock. It's under $5. I think that the institutions don't really want to get involved in it. That's pretty standard across the industry. It's quite an interesting and trending technology at the moment. Quite a good thing to be in, I'd say. The great thing with it is obviously with all the EV stock hype and everything going on with that, autonomous is a big part of that. And the cool thing with this stock is it doesn't really matter if it's NIO or if it's Ford or if it's BMW or whoever it is, Tesla. This technology has the potential to work its way into all of the manufacturers if it is as good as they say it is, which they predict they may not need to use LiDAR with the use of this technology. Although I'd imagine for full autonomous driving, you'd probably want various different sensors and technologies all combined together. So maybe this could be part of that whole autonomous driving package. They've also had a partnership with Intel. So from what I understand, Intel's bought some prototypes of their stuff for planes and boats, I think it is, and they're working together at the moment on other stuff. So that could be really quite interesting. So I'm going to be buying on Monday. This is a speculative play and it could go either way. Obviously bear in mind as well, I'm not a professional. I've been trading for the last 10 years, but I'm not a professional trader, so make sure you do your own due diligence and you know, go through these things yourself. Have a look at their website, have a look at some of their investor pamphlets and things like that. There's quite a lot of exciting stuff coming out about them actually, and I think it's a chance to get in before the hype. For me, this is a buy. Obviously do your own due diligence, and I'll see you on the next video.